This has been a paid presentation by Guthrie-Renker Corporation.
A great many people think that Jack Klugman and I are just like Felix and Oscar because we've played them so long. I didn't say assume, did I? A great many people assume that Jack Klugman and I are just like Felix and Oscar.
Tony!
All right. Come and see us in our annual 15th annual farewell tour. I said annual twice. Here we go again. Come see us in our annual 15th farewell tour of Neil Simon's great comedy, The Odd Couple. Is that any good?
WJW and WDOK present The Odd Couple at the Palace Theater May 3rd through 8th. Tickets now.
Don't you care?
On the next Bertice Berry Show, what do you do when your best friend's boyfriend hits on you?
I was hurt. I was upset.
Were you concerned about him being with other people?
Sex secrets between friends.
He wanted her to ask me to have sex with her in front of him so he could have sex with me.
She should have come and said, look, he's hitting on me.
He told me he would leave her, and I love her, and I don't want to see her hurt.
Is a secret worth your friendship? Find out on the next Bertice Berry Show.
Tomorrow morning at 9 on TV8.
For 75 years, Easter Seals has been helping people with disabilities live with equality, dignity, and independence. Support Easter Seals because wonderful things happen when you give ability a chance.
New Center 8's First Look with Wilma Smith premieres May 2nd.
CBS Up to the Minute will now be joined in progress.
Sold in the U.S. under a Time Warner record label. Loopholes in the law allow that.
If there's anyone who's pushing the hardest to lift the embargo, it's not anymore the leftist liberal wing, but actually the U.S. the commercial interest.
And with Cuba's crumbling economy, experts predict this market won't remain closed for long. Diana Gonzalez, CBS News, Havana.
In a moment, the Nixon legacy.
A presidential historian talks about Nixon, Watergate, Whitewater, and some unsolved mysteries.
Stay with us. This is CBS News Up to the Minute.
Sleep deprivation. 70 million Americans have experienced it, but you don't have to. Introducing Sleep and All Soft Gels with the sleep aid preferred by 7 out of 10 doctors. New Sleep and All Soft Gels help you fall asleep fast.
Make your money work harder than ever. Call now for your free Wall Street Journal guide to understanding money and investing. It focuses on financial markets so you can make informed choices. Call now to get your guide free when you subscribe to the Wall Street Journal, where you'll find information you need to get ahead. Get 10 weeks of the Journal for just $36 and the guide to understanding money and investing free with your paid subscription. Call toll-free 800-228-5757. That's 800-228-5757.
And I couldn't get rid of the itch, especially between my toes. It's the hardest place to get to.
Olga Bank is telling us about Triple Action Gold Bond Medicated Powder.
When you put on the Gold Bond, it really does take care of the itch, and then it just feels really comfortable.
Gold Bond's Triple Action is the absorbing action of powder, the medicating action of a proven itch fighter, and the drying action of zinc oxide.
Use Gold Bond. It really works. I really do like it, and it does work.
Try Triple Action Gold Bond Medicated Powder. Rich chocolate Ovaltine versus Nestle Quick.
This was the Ovaltine? Wow, that's amazing. This is really good. You caught me off guard. The taste was very, very similar to the Nestle's Quick.
Rich chocolate Ovaltine is a different kind of Ovaltine, and its great taste will surprise you.
Well, you don't have to lose taste for vitamins or minerals. You can have them both. And you can have a product that will be good for your kids as well as taste good.
Rich chocolate Ovaltine.
Sleep deprivation. 70 million Americans have experienced it, but you don't have to. Introducing Sleep and All Soft Gels with the sleep aid preferred by 7 out of 10 doctors. New Sleep and All Soft Gels help you fall asleep fast.
People lined up at the Nixon Library in Yorba Linda, California yesterday to pay their respects. Flags outside the library are flying at half-staff in honor of Richard Nixon, who died Friday night. Guests wrote letters and brought flowers to a temporary memorial on the library grounds as construction crews built grandstands for Mr. Nixon's funeral on Wednesday. The ceremony is expected to attract leaders from all over the world, including President Clinton and former presidents Ford, Carter, Reagan, and Bush. CBS News will provide complete coverage beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Former President Richard Nixon was remembered over the weekend at church services around the nation, and President Clinton will deliver a eulogy at the state funeral for Mr. Nixon on Wednesday in California. While some historians praise his foreign policy accomplishments, it was the Watergate scandal that became the downfall of the 37th President of the United States. CBS News correspondent Eric Engberg reports on the event that Richard Nixon knew would forever tarnish his place in history.
The Watergate story unfolded in words that are now embossed on the nation's consciousness.
People have got to know whether or not their president is a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
At first, the president's men called it a third-rate burglary, all the while plotting an illegal cover-up, hush money, documents shredded, a stonewall.
I had no prior knowledge of the Watergate break-in. I neither took part in nor knew about any of the subsequent cover-up activities.
But the trail led to his campaign organization, CREEP, and to his closest aides.
In any organization, the man at the top must bear the responsibility. That responsibility, therefore, belongs here, in this office. I accept it.
Investigators and the press followed the money.
I have never heard or seen such outrageous, vicious, distorted reporting in 27 years of public life.
As the conspiracy came apart, some Nixon men were left to twist slowly in the wind. Others talked.
I began by telling the president that there was a cancer growing on the presidency, and if the cancer was not removed, the president himself would be killed by it.
He had bugged himself, and it finished him. There was an 18-minute gap, expletives deleted, rough talk.
On that, we'll destroy him.
Watergate destroyed his presidency, but not Richard Nixon. And he died leaving a great riddle behind. How could such a brilliant student and manipulator of power permit such a debacle to happen? Eric Engberg, CBS News, Washington.
Despite his achievements in foreign policy, Richard Nixon still made life a lot more difficult for the presidents who came after him, according to some people. Henry Graff is a presidential historian and professor emeritus at Columbia University, and he joins us now at CBS News World Headquarters in New York. Thank you for joining us.
Nice to be here.
My first question is about Bill Clinton. Is he feeling the impact of the Nixon presidency in some ways?
I'm sure that every president who followed Nixon felt the impact, because I think the presidency was significantly weakened, damaged by the Watergate disclosures. I think people have developed a suspicion of authority. I think executives everywhere have been weakened by what happened to the Nixon administration.
And Clinton too, perhaps?
And Clinton too. On the other hand, there's much talk that Whitewater is comparable to Watergate. I don't believe that. And we can say that the Clinton administration should have been more forthcoming, thus avoiding some of the mistakes it is said that Nixon committed. Just remember, we learn from history only that we learn nothing from history. There are no lessons. The pattern of history is constantly changing the way the pattern of a kaleidoscope does.
Well, it's interesting you should say that, because so many people say, and of course few would disagree, that journalism changed as a result of the Watergate cover-up and revelations that came out of that. And yet there are some people who would say that the media did not jump on the Whitewater issue soon enough. Some people think that was overplayed, but others who say the media didn't learn. You would think in the 22 years after Watergate, if there was something to be uncovered, the media would go for it.
I think that the media is filled with people who would like to be new Woodward and Bernsteins, and they're constantly poking for some kind of scandal that they can win a Pulitzer Prize on. I think that's a weakness that is sensed by the public in how the press and other media behave. On the other hand, there's no question that Whitewater is not comparable to Watergate, and we ought to stop having gates. We had Iran Gate, Korea Gate, Lance Gate, enough gates.
Let me ask you this as a history expert, as you are, a student of history, teacher of history.
Yes.
How you can be so sure, this is a little off the subject, I guess, that Whitewater is not like Watergate? Because in the beginning, people thought Watergate was very small as well, and that's why I think some people are trying to draw the comparisons.
Most important, we are talking about events of the 1970s, long before Clinton and Mrs. Clinton were in the White House. So we're not talking about acts that were committed by a president. Watergate involved abuse of power, as the House of Representatives said, by a sitting president, acts performed while he was president. That's a very significant difference. We should not be looking for impeachment proceedings.
Okay, there is probably no other time that so many nice things have been said about Richard Nixon as in the past couple of days. How do you think he would view that? Would that be his ultimate vindication, or would that sort of make him angry and resentful?
That's what Franklin Roosevelt would have called an iffy question. We don't know. Much of what is said about President Nixon now is part of eulogy. Of the dead, we